Saquon Barkley just proved why the Eagles offense can be elite in 2024. And Kellen Moore drew up one of the best offensive game plans we've seen in quite some time. And a couple key defensive surprises made us feel a lot more comfortable about where this team is at. But overall, the Eagles get a win. A win is a win. 1-0 is 1-0. They get it done in Brazil, 34-29. Nowhere near perfect. A lot to clean up. But at the end of the day, in a tough situation, a tough environment, on a field that was absolute crap, they go out there tit for tat, battle for battle, and they win it. And they get it done, and they're 1-0 to start the season. Very inconsistent game, but it felt like one of those wins last year that they really had to grind out. The grit in this game was nuts. And at 1:30 in the morning, I can't sit here and help but think about New York Giants fans who must be pulling their hair out. I can't believe they let the Eagles get Saquon Barkley. Did they really do that? Did they really go out there and think that Daniel Jones was more valuable than Saquon? And think that the guy that carried that franchise for 6 seasons was not going to come to Philadelphia in the division and absolutely torch the opponent and absolutely explode? When Saquon goes back to MetLife, he is going to make Giants fans cry real tears. Saquon Barkley is in midnight green. He's a Philadelphia Eagle. I cannot believe it. And you want to talk about a monstrous debut? John Mara, this guy looks like he was about to throw up in this Hard Knocks episode. You want to talk about monstrous? Saquon Barkley, 26 touches, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns, tied a career high in his debut. This is just the tip of the iceberg. He didn't even dip his toes in yet. The first Eagle with 100 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in a game since LaShawn McCoy in 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, Saquon Barkley, second player with 3 touchdowns in his Eagles debut. The only other guy to do it is Terrell Owens in 2004. The Eagles just unlocked a different tier because you have A.J. Brown, who can run down the field out of halftime for a 67-yard bomb. He's essentially unguardable. Then you have Devontae Smith, who can seal the deal with a couple late slant routes. He's unstoppable. And then you have Dallas Goedert, who Kellen Moore actually utilized. Oh my gosh, it's a crazy concept, but the Birds actually used the middle of the field and made life easier for themselves. Jalen Hurts found all of his weapons, and then Saquon Barkley put this team on his back and led them to victory, even after 2 tumultuous drives to begin the game, or late in the third when they needed something, or in the fourth when they needed to run the clock out. Saquon answered the calls. There are so many weapons on this team. Their offense put up 34 points, and maybe they can actually average 30 plus this season. Absolutely incredible. Saquon Barkley now has as many receiving touchdowns as any Eagles running back had in an entire season since Jalen Hurts was drafted in 2020. He adds a difference-making element to the offense. You want to talk about difference-making, Field Yates? You want to talk about difference-making? Saquon Barkley is a superstar. If you're one of those people in the offseason who said, well, the Eagles shouldn't have paid him because the Eagles paid $13 million to a guy who's 27 and running backs have a shorter shelf life and he wasted all of it with the Giants, blah, blah, blah. Saquon Barkley is a superstar. He's not a dime a dozen running back. He is a game changer. He's a game changer. He wins games like he did tonight. Kellen Moore was a mastermind. He was brilliant tonight. We've heard a lot of good and a lot of bad about Kellen Moore. But let me tell you something, okay? I almost shed a damn tear watching this game because Kellen Moore utilized motion. He stuck with the run. Saquon Barkley, 24 carries. You know why? Because Kellen Moore didn't go away from it when it stopped working. He fed the rock to Saquon Barkley, and he just made life so much easier. He did things that worked. On a 3rd and 5, I didn't have to think that Brian Johnson was dialing up a play to launch it 32 yards down the right sideline. No, it was an easy slant route. It was easy. The game came to them thanks to Kellen Moore, and he utilized motion on 48 out of 73 offensive plays, 65.8%, highest mark in a game since 2020. And last season, the Birds used motion at the lowest rate in the league at 35%. Kellen Moore is a mastermind. He's brilliant. He makes the game easy, simplifies it, and he got this team in a rhythm today. Jalen Hurts today with motion went 15 of 21, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns. And without motion, he was 5 of 13 with 66 yards, 2 picks. Jalen Hurts struggled at times in this game. There were also some wow moments where you're like, okay, he still has it. I think his decision-making was pretty bad overall in this game, but it is week 1. The communication will improve. He will get it down. His chemistry will improve with these guys, and they'll just get into more of a rhythm. But especially when you have a guy like Saquon who can carry you to a win like this, it is absolutely huge. Couple plays in this game from Jalen, like the late screen in the fourth quarter that got blown up almost through a pick. Then he throws one in the end zone. That can't happen. You can't leave points on the board. Or even the first drive where he throws a deep ball on 3rd and long for an interception. Just can't happen. Jalen's going to have to improve in these areas and make sure that he's making the best decisions with the football possible. But overall, like I said, there was a really good stretch. Eagles had 4 straight scoring drives, and they put a lot of points on the board. Now, on the other side, I thought the Eagles' defense really made an impact early in this game. For your offense to turn the ball over twice in the first 2 drives, for then you to come out and make 2 big stops on a short field, that saved this game. I thought that was going to end this team. I did not expect the defense to come out as sharp as they did. However, as the game went on, things got worse. I wanted to see a little more pressure from Vic Fangio. The front 4 was not as sharp as I would like them to be. I mean, he did dial up a few 3rd down blitzes, but a couple penalties here and there, couple blown coverages, missed tackles. These things have to be improved, and I would expect Vic Fangio to go back to the drawing board and kind of work on some things with this secondary. But I will say Quinyon Mitchell, Eagles' first-round pick, was an absolute beauty to watch. He gave off that swagger. He gave off that CB1 type of vibe. There was a couple plays that he let up, but overall, to lock up Christian Watson on this play and start talking smack to him, and they've said, he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a good kid, but when he gets on that field, he's got that sneaky swagger. He's got that sneaky trash talk, and it came out, man, and he's staring guys down, and he's locking people up. To go from playing in the nickel all camp long, then you slide to the outside with Rodgers hurt. I thought Quinyon really held his own in the slot. Avonte Maddox gave up a couple big plays, big-time penalty. We'll see what happens moving forward. Maybe they tried DeJean or even Keely Ringo, but I don't think they have any more questions with Quinyon. He looked ready to go against a pretty good wide receiver trio of the Green Bay Packers. So I got to give him his credit. I thought the safeties left a couple plays on the field, but overall, when I look at Reed Blankenship, I mean, he made a big game swinging type of play, the big interception, which is the same thing he did a couple years ago against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And in terms of the middle of the field, I thought Zack Baun was one of the MVPs tonight on defense. This guy comes out 15 tackles in his Eagles debut, 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, and a tackle for loss. This is a guy I've had a lot of questions about. And with the whole Devin White situation, I thought they were going to have problems from day one. Well, so far, and I know it's very early, so I don't want to get ahead of myself, Zack Baun looked like a player. He had toughness. He was out there flexing, pumping himself up. I loved it. Zack Baun made an impact from the first snap in this game, and he looked really, really polished, man. What a guy to have. The middle of the field was locked down. I thought Nakobe played well. In addition to Zack Baun, he did leave a pick 6 wide open on the field, but other than that, man, I thought the linebacker core held their own. I thought the corners held their own for the most part, but I think that front 4 needs a little bit of work. Did not really hear much of Bryce Huff or Josh Sweat or Milton Williams. Even Jalen Carter got doubled a few times, couple bad penalties. They need to work on that for sure. They win at 34-29. They go on a 7-minute, 20-second drive to close this game out. It still got pretty sketchy there at the end. Then Jordan Love goes down. Hopefully he's okay. But the Eagles end up in a very tight game, sneaking out a win in Brazil, and they start their season 1-0. A lot of things to clean up. But the fact they were able to win a game like this shows a lot about this team. It shows that they can compete in these types of situations. And once again, Saquon Barkley is going to put tears into the eyes of Giants fans. Saquon Barkley is him. He is everything and more that we could have asked for. I cannot believe he's a Philadelphia Eagle, and I can't wait to see how he builds on this next week. Give me your thoughts down below in the comments section. Appreciate everybody tapping in.